tell people share it. Yeah. They tell you, oh, I shared on my messenger or I shared on my WhatsApp. No, I'm telling you, share. You can do all of that, but share on Facebook.
So here we are today, second day
fine, Mike.
of American college cricket. And Sentence team, I guess, are into bat. Husnain, Bashir and Rehan opening up. Husnain is a Marine and he's platooner watching. So hopefully he does well today. He wants to get some runs. So Lloyd, good to have you be back in at it today.
Yeah, the outfield is slightly damp, so the fielders will be will watch himself initially, but fortunately we've got sunshine, so that's been drying out. Otherwise, starting off is a beautiful day, and to open the bowling from the far end will be Danya Dave, University of Guelph up in the Toronto area. And he, of course, bowled pretty well yesterday. Here he comes. Right arm. First ball on target, played defensively into the offside by Hossein Bashir, U.S. Marine. And it's a pleasure to have a U.S. Marine in our ranks, so to speak. And he went to the University of Maryland, 2019 College Player of the Year, one of the College Players of the Year. And by the end of the year, he was a U.S. Marine.
And he wants to be a lifer, 20 years, they told me yesterday.
Danny Dave, right arm. Played out into the offside area. Hussein wants to make some runs today because in other cricket that he's been playing in the Maryland area, he's been piling up the runs since his transition from a fast bowler to a batsman. The two innings he's played so far here, he is not followed through on that kind of scoring. So today, of course, he wants to do that. His technique looks pretty good in what we've seen. Here comes Daniel Dave. Defensive shot, they think of a run, and ultimately they get it with that overthrow. So, Daniel Dave, big guy, David, 6'3".
He is a big lad. I mean, he could be a linebacker for a football team. Actually, it's interesting talking to Bashir, how he said that he gave up bowling because he wanted to preserve his body longer for the Marines. And that's why he took up batting, which is shows an ability to adjust for his life needs.
Ran Kapoor coming higher in the order, opening the batting with Hussein. He's on strike now. Nice looking shot, but the ball doesn't go anywhere. And no run. Ran is a big lad as well. Not quite as tall as Danya, but a big guy.
Yeah, you got some big lads in American college cricket.
Yeah, it just does make taking photographs, team pictures a little challenging.
Harder to miss.
And that one pops up in the air, but nobody was able to get to it, and they get a couple. He went for the big drive, didn't quite get a hold of it, it went up in the air. So this morning here, the temperature is mild, probably in the 70s. It's supposed to get up to about 80 today, and so it will be a bit warmer than yesterday.
Actually, you got 4 on that last one, Lloyd, so that was a good hit.
Oh, maybe these glasses are not working. These are new glasses, by the way.
Got to lift the shades a little bit there, baby.
I got them on Thursday and got a compliment when
a boundary in the first over. That's great. That didn't happen yesterday.
Daniel Dave comes in, drops that. Oh, a lovely shot. Well, let me take that back. It wasn't a bad shot, except that it went in the air to the fielder.
This time it should have gone for a couple instead of 4.
Let's watch the replay here.
Straight to the fielder.
Well, it wasn't a nice shot, but it came off higher in the bat probably than he intended. And the fielder made a good catch, moving to his left and going up in the air a little bit there. Let's watch it again.
He actually put some backspin on that. So he played for the mishit.
So Ryan has got to feel a little disappointed there, getting out there. Just a little bit more on that, and the ball would have sailed over that fielder's reach. So the first wicket goes very early for the Sentence team, and it's the wicket of Rehan Kapoor from Maryland. Now, coming in is young Aditya, as we call him, Adi, and he showed some ability yesterday, particularly in the second innings. So we're eager to see him in this third innings here, David.
Yeah, I was chatting to Bashir too, and he was saying that playing straight is very important, and Adi really showed that with a partnership of 50 yesterday. He was very, very much in line with the ball and hitting it straight. Most of the wickets you see go when the cross back comes in. And on this wicket, technique is pretty important.
You know, it's funny how that your statement just now it was so resonant, because it's a statement that could have been made 40 years ago, for example. The cross bat gets you out.
Yeah.
It's just that these days batsmen are more willing to do it because of T20 cricket.
Yeah, they have to improvise more.
And also with the bowling being focused on middle to off.
Yeah.
And not as many fielders on the leg side. The temptation to play the pull shot is there all the time, and that's why it's become such a big shot in cricket.
Well, as we were saying yesterday, it's like a baseball shot, isn't it?
It is.
It's pure
and
art.
of course, I must have mentioned a couple of times that it's a shot that I hate and a shot that's detrimental to the game overall. The left-hander is Monish Kumar from Arkansas State University, ASU, and left-arm pacer. He's also the club president and team captain of Arkansas State. Here he comes. Relatively short run-up. A chip before delivery, and this one is right on target.
Yeah, the bowling has been good in this series.
Yeah, a lot of very good bowling. The speedsters, the medium pace, the spinners. The spinners, as you've mentioned a number of times, have been sort of pushing the ball through, so they're quick spinners for the most part, except one bowler was flighting it. But all very good and on target for the most part.
That one moved in nicely.
Bashir fishing at it outside the off stump, fortunate not to get an edge. And it was one thing I was noticing when, I was putting together the two teams, is that we had a lot of bowling.
Yeah.
So, Monish Kumar, another big lad. Left arm, medium pace. And this one he almost flights it, unless it slipped out of his hand, basically, because it is a little damp out there. So I think that one might have slipped out.
I think so too, yeah. Score 6-1. 7-1 now. Wide.
You see, I managed to get my name on the scoreboard by naming a team after myself.
By hook or by crook.
I'll get it done. Nice shot down the wicket. No man is there, so that's 4 runs. And is that... let's see who that was. It was Hussain.
Yeah, he picked that up nicely. The Marines will be happy.
Yeah, so nice shot there by Hussain, getting off the mark, and of course making him feel good after his 2 innings where he didn't do well yesterday.
Yeah, most people are concerned about their cricket bats and so on when they come to play, but Bashir was more concerned about his iron because he wanted to make sure his uniform's properly pressed, which impressed me.
Yes, I think I've managed to communicate to the players that appearances are important. But of course, him as a Marine, that's been impressed upon him as part of being a member of the Corps. Now that one would have been going down the leg side, so the appeal had no merit, as the umpires demonstrated by not reacting. So we are here at Moosa Stadium in Houston, Texas, the lovely Moosa Stadium by Saki Mohammed. And of course, this is the American College Cricket All-Star Weekend 2021 edition, where some of our top players came to play against each other.
That was close. Could have been snapped. Caught and bowled there, but just missed it. So with Bashir, you'd call him a core player in every sense of the word. And that takes the score to 11 for 1. 2 overs gone. Today we're playing American College cricket rules, where we're just staying with the bowler at one end for 10 overs and then switching after 10 to the other end, because to save time, because we're expecting rain later today and we want to get a second game in. So Dan, you're on to bowl. A ditcher to face. Addy's the 15-year-old from Maryland, chatting to his dad, and he's challenging his son with better levels of cricket, looking for opportunities to play at the senior level. Real talent, and you'll see he plays the ball very straight. So Dan, you're into bowl. Off the mark right away, and 4 runs. So the 15-year-old puts up 4, still in high school. Plays a lot of cricket in the East Coast, Maryland area, Mid-Atlantic League. A lot of these players play in 2 or 3 leagues to get the best competition they can. And there are a lot of them on the East Coast. So Addy off the mark. That's wide. Beating the bat there. Score now 16 for 1, 2.2 overs. So Dan, you're a good bowler, bowled very well in this series so far. He comes, slams that one down right on the leg stump. Well played there by Bashir. And 4 runs. So Hussain having a good innings here. He got out early in the first game. Second game not so good, so this is his best batting performance so far. A little practice makes perfect, I guess. Outfield was very damp earlier today, so that's why we had a slight delay. But seems to be drying out fast now. Score 20 for 1. Nice little flick up his legs there. for a single. Well stopped by the fielder. Good wristy shot, that.
Share the screen on your Facebook. So score now 20 for 1. Husnain Bashir on 5. Aditya Adi, as we call him, is on 4. And Danya has taken a wicket for 12 runs. He's in his second over. Danya is a right-arm pacer. Tall, so he gets good bounce from the University of Guelph. And this one's stroked nicely into the offside, well fielded by the fielder in the sense of stopping it, but doesn't grab low it, so they're still able to get 2. But certainly saved a boundary there because Darwin was moving very fast along the outfield. Adi moves on to 6. And you're watching the American College Cricket 2021 All-Star Series. And we've named teams after myself, Joda 11 versus Sentence 11. And had 2 games yesterday, both won by the Joda 11. So the Sentence 11 today, batting first, wants to do their best to actually retrieve something here. And then following that, 12 of the top of the 24 players will be selected to play versus UT Arlington, who's come down from Dallas area. UT Arlington has played here before in different, of course, forms of the team, different players, as players have graduated over the years. And they even played here in 2016 on Sony when we broadcast on Sony the Southwest Regionals. But American College Cricket has been playing here at Moosa Stadium since 2014. At least 2 previous All-Star Series. This would be the 3rd. And Southwest Championships almost every year from 2014, except, of course, for the lockdown.
We should say, Lloyd, that those who want to watch this game can watch on live on American College Cricket, right, off Facebook.
So here comes the left arm, Monish Kumar, stroked out nicely, a nice looking off drive there by Husnain Bashir, fielded in the mid-off area, but they ran that one nevertheless. And that's definitely how it should be in this format of the cricket. If you're on the move with your shot, you can play that ball even to a fielder and still run. So the sun coming out right now from behind the clouds and giving us a beautiful vista here as Monish Kumar, Arkansas State University, comes in. Once flighted a little bit there. Defensive shot by the young Adi. Adi is actually a high school student. We did a little bit of experiment by allowing a high school student to play among the college players. I felt it was a great opportunity for him to, not only from a cricket point of view, but the fact that he's playing among highly accomplished students. Drops that one short, doesn't get up much height, not enough pace, played out into the offside, no run. And American College Cricket National Championship will be March 16th to the 20th in Fort Lauderdale as usual. Great area to spend spring break. And if you want to start early registration, you can contact me or the American College Cricket Facebook page. Beginning now, basically this week we'll announce the formal early registration. Monish Kumar, left arm, stroked nicely into the offside, but the field is placed exactly for that, and so there's no chance of a run. So last night, as the night before, David and I, we had dinner and, of course, stopped by some karaoke.
Oh, yeah, you're the great singer, Lloyd. I just sat there in awe listening to all your songs.
It was Hunter's Pub is the name in the Pearland area.
You almost got me to sing Leaving on a Jet Plane, but I thought the better of it.
That one was stroked. Finally finding a bit of a gap there in the offside, and they were able to get a couple of runs as the man ran around in the covers and retrieved it. Yeah, it was fun singing some country music. I do an occasional country song in New York too, but down here it was all country.
Yeah, till the cows come home.
And the cows are still coming home. Here comes the left-handed Monish Kumar. Played into the onside.
Addy having a good innings here.
Well, one of the things I like about him, he's not looking hurried. He's not looking pressured to go for extravagant shots, really. He's playing the ball more or less on his merits while still looking for runs. So even if the shot is somewhat defensive, he's going for that single, judging it well and getting the single. That's why we saw such a clinic yesterday when he was batting with Rahul Gurujala from West Virginia University. And they just demonstrated how you can keep the scoreboard ticking at a very good rate. Exactly. It was close to 8 runs and over.
Yeah.
And just getting singles and twos and so on.
Yeah, what would normally be a defensive shot for the average batsman, he's turning into runs.
Yes.
And that's the sign of somebody who's using his wrists well. And
also the approach. And also thinking of runs.
He's thinking of runs, and he knows where the angles are for these little singles. And runs well with them too. Umpire almost called that one.
And let's see who the bowler is. Monish Kumar has bowled 2 overs for 9 runs. And Monish Kumar is from Arkansas State University. This is Sachdeva. And right arm, medium pace. Hussain faces on 6. Swings at that one. And there's a chase. Let's see. And it's 4 runs.
That was a lovely hook shot. He got all of that.
As we saw there on the replay. And that's 4 more to Hussain, moving up to 10 and feeling confident, more confident as the ball goes by. So he will be pretty pleased if he can put up some runs here, because he's been making a lot of runs in the Maryland area in non-college cricket.
That was a bit wild.
And that's up wide there. So Vamsi is from University of Texas, Arlington.
The pitch seems to be acting up a little bit. It's beginning to break up at this end. Could be a factor later on in the game.
Possibly. Here comes Vamsi, right arm. Drops that one short. Played out into the mid-wicket area for a single.
For the most part, the bowling has been really on a good length, but we're a bit short here on this over.
So Addy back on strike on a brilliant Texas morning. To those of you watching whatever part of the country or maybe in the world, India for example, watching, we are in the Houston, Texas area at Moosa Cricket Stadium. And this stadium is the first private major cricket facility built in the U.S. going back nearly 10 years ago, from around 2013. We first played it in 2014. So we've been a part of its growth. And this was done by Saki Mohammed, who is a Houston area businessman and a devotee, as you would expect, to cricket. And with me on the commentary, I'm Lloyd Joe, the founder and president of American College Cricket. With me on commentary is David Sentence, who's been a long-time part of American College Cricket since 2010. And drops that one short too, doesn't get him much height because he's not really bowling fast. a nice looking shot that goes down to the man on the point boundary, and they just take a single. David Sentence is also a U.S. cricket historian, has written the book Cricket in America, 1710 to 2000, David?
2000. Yeah.
2000. And he's practically finished the follow-up to that, and is looking to get it published in the near future. So look out for that. But you should get a hold of the first one, which of course you can get. Oh, nicely swung around back with a point. They'll get a couple here. And they do. And it really gives a pretty good, a well-researched insight into U.S. cricket history. So lots of people need to get a hold of that book.
Thank you, Lloyd. Looking forward to seeing yours come out on American college cricket too.
Yes, I hope to do that definitively, no matter what else, before the national championship in March. And so that it's practically finished. Of course, I'm still going over the material, written, editing, distilling,
The editing,
as you would say.
yeah. A lot happened since 2000 in cricket in the United States.
Yeah, and I put down a lot, so I'm distilling right now to bring it down. And things continue to happen even as I do that process. So I then have to make a decision whether or not to add on like a chapter to bring it to where we are. But then the problem with that is that I'll keep doing that.
Exactly. That's the difference between history and current events.
Yes. Nice. I mean, we've seen some nice, I guess you'd call them off drives. Not a lot of power, but just lovely looking into the offside. And I've gotten some runs because they've taken singles and twos and so on off of them. So the scoring rate right now is not bad. It's 7.2.
It's good for a sentence team.
No, it's good for any team at this stage of the game.
That's good. We're coming mainstream now. I'm noticing a couple of the fielders have towels on them to try and hit the ball. But the other thing is the batting technique that has developed in this series of games is they've gone from cross-bat to actually playing straighter, finding that's a more effective way of keeping the runs moving forward.
Well, I wouldn't say there because, of course, somebody like Addy was playing straight all the time. We did see the ones who made the mistake of playing cross-bat, as you said, losing their wickets at that point.
Yeah.
But Addy, as an example, has been playing straight in all 3 innings that we've seen him play. Right now, Hasnain in this innings, the first of the 3 innings that he spent some time out there, he's playing straight.
They're putting on a nice little partnership.
Yeah, and keeping that scoreboard ticking. Once you stay above 7 and you're, below your 10 over mark.
Yeah, that's kind of the idling speed for T20 cricket.
Nice looking drive there, but straight to the man in the mid-off area. So no run. Rudy behind the stumps. Rudy, like the other wicketkeeper, Bashneer, Yudi in particular, had a lot of diving to do.
Yeah, he did a lot in the last game.
Another big swing there from Husnain, but this time he didn't connect. And he's gone.
He must have connected somewhere. Let's have a look at it. Oh, no. Must have played all around it.
The ball connected.
He didn't connect.
The ball connected with the wicket.
Yeah. Missed that one altogether.
Yeah, he played a good shot the ball before.
Yeah.
Which was almost full-blooded drive.
Yeah.
So then he went again for a similar drive, but the ball was more on target and did some movement.
Probably prejudged the shot a bit, too.
Could be because, looking to really get that ball past that fielder.
Yeah.
But this was a better ball, more on target, and there was some late movement. So Bashir paid the price, and so he goes. Well made 13 because it's a good partnership with Addy.
Yeah.
To solidify the
by talking about it.
They really solidify where the team is at right now.
Yeah.
So they're in no trouble.
That one actually had a bit of a loop on it too. Some more, bit of a trajectory there. The water break. I must say the weather in Houston hasn't been nearly as humid as it was when we were here 4 weeks ago. I mean, months ago, Lloyd.
Well, it was 2 months ago, so that was basically summer.
Yeah.
Completely different story in the summer.
Yeah.
I spent some weeks in summer in Fort Lauderdale too. That's really hot as well. You come out of the air conditioning and you start to sweat right away.
You thinking of moving to Florida, Lloyd?
It's a possibility. I mean, I haven't really, concretely set in motion anything, but I'm just looking at certain factors. So it's a possibility, but we'll see. I mean, New York still has a lot of silly regulations right now. So, for instance, entry into bars, restaurants, and this kind of stuff is very restricted. So it makes everyday life, let's say, challenging, to put it nicely. So yeah, it adds to the reasons you want to move to somewhere where people are free, like Florida.
You don't want to be a masked bandit?
No, not at all. And of course, Florida itself has a lot of positives. Apart from that, just the living beach nearby, more outdoor life and so on. But I generally speaking, except for the condition New York is in right now, I love living in New York. I love the four seasons. Like right now it's autumn. It's beautiful. This one is stroked into the onside, and the man is sort of a deepish mid-on, gets it, but they get a single.
New batsman is Emmanuel. Is that Sorab?
Emmanuel Citroen.
Citroen. Can you tell us a little about him, Lloyd?
Yeah, he's out of Schenectady, New York. I think I started to say yesterday the story, which was that a mayor of Schenectady, this is going back over 10 years ago, sent out basically an invitation to Indian Guyanese from the Richmond area to move to Schenectady. And I guess I'm assuming they put in some sort of conditions to encourage them to move. And Richmond Hill in Queens is a pretty unusual area. It's an area that was on the downhill slope,
right,
back in the 80s, and it became an area where a lot of Indian Guyanese moved to, and they highly developed it. Businesses were booming, like almost 30 blocks of small businesses, really unique. Sure. This one is stroked nicely into the offside. The outfield is a little slow with a little damp dew, so they don't quite get four, but it was a gorgeous shot, and we may see that on the replay. So Addy delighting every now and again with some gorgeous shots, especially offside shots, David.
Yeah, he's a good offside player.
So the Schenectady story was that that invitation went out and a lot of those people moved to Schenectady. Oh, another glorious shot.
That's almost like a Canai type stroke there. His timing is very good at the moment. Yeah, and it's all timing. There's no big swing of the bat, no power hits. Yeah, just glorious off drives and cover drives. And evoking Ron Kanai. Exactly. Same again. He's getting right behind that.
So 19 for Aditya with some delightful shots here. I don't think he struck a boundary yet, but who needs boundaries when he's moving the score along and playing some delightful shots?
This is the new sentence technique, 45 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Rotating the strike.
Bowler coming over the wicket. This one's played along the ground. They think about a single. Citroen is cautious. And yeah, so that area is such an example of small business, and all the homes are painted. The fences are amazing. They love their
They love the fences.
fancy fences. Yeah. So you drive through that area, you're struck by, what is this?
Yeah.
It just stands out as a community from a business and a housing perspective. So I guess there were qualities that attracted that particular mayor, and he invited them. I don't know how it came about,
Yeah.
but he invited, and a lot of them moved to Schenectady.
Interesting. In Los Angeles, it was the Korean community that was courted by Mayor Bradley at that time.
Okay.
And the whole city's taken off where they settle. Real entrepreneurial activity. But a lot of it boiled down to being able to borrow money for zero interest from local lending institutions within the Korean community.
Here comes right arm. Well, I would more say it boiled down to the entrepreneurial spirit rather than anything else, because you can have all the access you want to funds, but if you don't have the spirit to execute, nothing's going to happen. And we in American college cricket have been the opposite. Not a lot of money, but we've had the willingness.
Well, the entrepreneurial spirit has been there.
Entrepreneurial spirit there, and we've accomplished a lot of great things.
By staying focused.
It's more about the spirit, and it's really an American spirit, because almost any community will tell you when they've moved from another country how complex and difficult it is to start businesses in whatever country they're from. You talk to the average Indian, and they'll tell you how complex it is to start a small business, in India. And that applies to most places outside of the U.S.
Well, you need a lot of grit. And do you think that applies to cricket too?
Well, you also need a lack of tons of regulations that put obstacles in your way. You need, there's simple process. Like, for instance, to start a business in the USA is as simple as, boom, you set up a limited liability company, which you can do in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And that's not only valuable for setting up a company, as we see the right arm, nicely played down the wicket. Again, we're just easy, delightful shots, David.
And these two batsmen feeding off each other very well. And this often happens when people get in the flow. It helps both ends.
Yeah, you set up a company in a couple of days.
Yeah.
A couple of $100 to incorporate, and you're off and running. You're protected from liability because it's a limited liability company.
Yeah.
So your whole family is not subject to, losses if something happens. As simple as that.
Yep.
That's
makes a huge difference.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay to fail and start again.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
In the US, failing is nothing, because you can get up the next day and try again.
You see failure in cricket all the time. So when guys do play well, it's more appreciated.
Yeah, you bat, and some days it's not going to go for you. You bowl and you get hit all over the place.
Score 48 for 2. Run rate is 6. 8 overs done.
Yeah, with the fall of that wicket, the scoring rate actually dropped. So it was in over 7, now it's down to 6. So these two will want to pick it up back, because they were really going well. But that's what a wicket fall can do. It can slow down your efforts as well.
Definitely saw that yesterday with the injury, didn't we?
Oh, man, that was such a drastic turnaround.
Yeah. Nice
He
little
swept that one there and probably didn't get a hold of it well, but it still runs down. They'll get 2.
Can you tell us a little bit about the bowler, Lloyd?
It's Keenal Patel, who played for South Alabama. He's graduated now, and he was a key part of the team when they made the finals in 2018, the American College Cricket National Finals. He's a batting all-rounder, and as you can see here, he's bowling spin.
Nicely flighted. It's always hard to get that stuff on the length.
Yeah, absolutely. Here he comes, flighting again. But it's awesome to see a bowler who's flighting the ball well and just landing it just right. It puts the batsman in a dilemma.
Yeah.
Do I go down the wicket? Do I stay here? What do I do? And of course,
raising the trajectory of the ball.
Yep.
There it goes, high again. That time he hits it hard. It's coming out of the back of the hand, isn't it? So imparting the spin that way.
So that one was in the air, and the fielder at that was like at a mid-off position, a bit fine, took the catch, and he goes. So Rahul Gorajala will come to the wicket. Rahul is very accomplished batsman. He does have a calf injury he suffered yesterday, so it might affect his running, as we saw the replay there. So Rahul might be more reluctant to run, but otherwise his skills are there. And that's Citroen losing his wicket. So on the plus side for the sentence team, Aditya is still there, Adi is still there. But the run rate now is dropped down to 5.77 with the loss of that third wicket. And now a player has to play himself in. So getting more challenging, even though there was a pretty good start until the fall of the second wicket.
Yeah, beginning to get a bit of an incline here. But having Addy there is very helpful because he's on 20 and potential anchor for the team.
And his style also helps the other batsman because they're rotating the strike. So the other batsman is not stuck at the other end just watching.
Right.
He's getting on strike. So give them the chance to build their own innings.
So seeing some good bowling here, variety. Threw that last one up and got a wicket. Nice shot then. Counteracting the spin. So Addy's shown how it can be done.
Brilliant sunshine here in the morning in Houston, Texas. And Keenal Patel, the bowler, flights this one again.
That would be a reach to get that one across that side of the wicket. It would have been better to just push it out. Perhaps Addy will tell him that. So we're on 51 for 3 right now. 5.77 run rate, as Lloyd pointed out, dropping down a little bit. Keenal having a good over there. 1 wicket for 3 runs. So see if we can develop a little bit of a partnership here with the Aditya as anchor. The 15-year-old. Seen some good cricket in the last 2 days. The weather's held up. New bowler in. Getting some off breaks here. That one was fortunately short, so it could be picked up. outside the off stump. Ditch now on 22.
So another wicket goes, and this is Rahul Gurjala, West Virginia University, and one of our top batsmen usually. He's gone, so Sentence are in real trouble now.
Yeah. Incline just got steeper, and the spin bowling changes have been very effective. Got that one on the up. Didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball.
Well, I was going to say that if I were playing cricket now as a bowler, if I couldn't bowl fast, I might want to be a spinner who's flighting the ball, because I feel that's a weakness for batsmen these days, because they don't use their feet a lot.
A lot of that, are being trained on bowling machines now, and it's a very solid straight trajectory. So that extra trajectory from the spinner, they're not as practiced against.
Good point. That's one reason, but in general as well, the batsmen don't use their feet as much
Yes,
now.
you're right.
They stay within their
Yeah.
crease.
Yeah.
So I would want to be a flight of the ball, and as we saw with Kinal, you fly the ball and you can drop it short of one, you flight it more for the next one, and that's what got him the wicket there.
Yeah, and that one's up too.
Yeah. Bhaskar gets another wicket. This.
Oh boy, I've got a collapse now. Back-to-back wicket, so he's on a hat trick.
Yep, and the batsmen are at a loss when it comes to flighted balls, basically.
And it's really he's putting a tremendous amount of flight and torque on that ball.
Yeah, did you see how that came in the air?
Yeah.
That slow motion
bowling.
replay really showed us
It was
well.
a great replay, actually. This is Barshat, the bowler?
Bhaskar,
Baskat. Where is he from?
University of Texas, Arlington.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been a key factor in assisting me this weekend. So
Will he be playing with Arlington later today?
yes, he will. He will.
Look at that back
Look at
spin.
that. Look at how that curved in.
Just didn't counteract that spinner straight to the fielder.
So you had the flight, you had the curving in from the
Yeah.
torque, and then the spin, I'm sure, when it dropped.
Yeah.
But of course, with the flight, the batsman had to try to figure that out.
Yeah. Got to play that guy. You got to get to the pitch of the ball. There he is back, comes off, pops off the edge of the bat. Probably get the foot across and then dip it down on the leg side.
And Keenal Patel took that catch there in the cover area.
So Sarab, your incoming batsman, Ditcher now on 22. Seen 3 wickets go in very short order.
His chance here to really, emphasize on what he's done so far this weekend, Addy,
Yeah.
by putting up a big score, staying at the wicket in the first place through all this damage being done,
Yeah.
and then putting up, maybe if he gets a 50, it'll be such a fantastic accomplishment for
Quite
the
a statement.
15-year-old, yeah.
And if you can see off the spin bowling, sure he can handle both sorts of bowling.
Yeah, well, I want to see him on strike against the Bhaskar, who's been flighting it, or Keenal, who's been flighting it.
Yeah. Yeah, he opened the bowling with a short ball that was tapped away for a single, but now he's been on the length ever since. No hat trick, though.
Nicely stroking into the offside. And speaking of bowling, we must mention Saad Zafar, Ryerson alum. He just established himself, and he's getting worldwide coverage for this, rightly so. Saad Zafar took, as we watch Bhaskar coming again, right arm, flights that one again, has the batsman playing defensively. He bowled 4 overs, 4 maidens, and took 2 wickets for Canada versus Panama in the T20 World Cup qualifiers. It's a world record.
Yeah.
And easily a world record. Nobody else has
Right.
done anything like 4 maidens,
That's an
And
amazing bowling spell for T20. Incredible.
exactly, because no
That's his
matter
full.
who is batting,
Yeah.
they could
Yeah.
swing and get a single or something,
Yeah.
So, and he's getting coverage in every cricket country you can think of.
Right.
One funny headline was they put unknown cricketer,
Yeah.
but fortunately the other headlines have been, better.
Yeah.
They've recognized that what he did was great by not using that kind of description. So just this morning I saw there was an article out in New Zealand, and there have been lots of other cricket playing countries. So congratulations to Saad Zafar, one of our top all-rounders all time in American college cricket. He's played for Canada, of course, and he's played in the GT20 for the Vancouver Knights. He was drafted in the CPL 1 year, and accomplished batsman and bowler, but getting recognition right now for his bowling. The first GT20, he was the MVP in the finals for fantastic innings of 70 odd that basically took the team to a winning position. So he's a very accomplished batsman as well. He scored a century in American college cricket.
Wow. He's a cricketer.
Yes.
Canal, the new bowler. What's the story on Canal, Lloyd?
I told you earlier, South Alabama.
Yeah.
1 second. Driven out into the offside. And Saad, so once again, shout out to Saad if he happens to be watching, and his Ryerson colleagues who must be overjoyed at the success and the recognition he's getting.
It's been an amazing program, that Ryerson program of cricket.
Well, it's a perfect example of, providing a platform, giving opportunity, lots of significant competitive cricket.
Yeah.
So it brings out the best in you as a player, as an organizer, and so on. So the leadership, of Hassan Mirza and Obaid Ullah Babar at Ryerson, and just the players coming in and having this tradition of high scores, etc. And winning.
Yeah.
Oh, this one is struck away. Let's see.
Stopped on the boundary, I think.
Did it go? I'm going to assume that since the fielder didn't say anything, that
Yeah, just
he
got it.
got
on
it
the
just
boundary.
inside. So that was struck by Hardick. So Hardick taking a big swing there. And sentence 11 does need to pick up the scoring, but at the same time try to recover from that collapse.
Yeah, mid-wicket, mid-innings collapse.
Yeah, it's made it even hard for you to speak.
Yeah, we've got 5 fives now.
555. That's easy to say. So Keenal Patel in the second over has taken 1 wicket for 6 runs. From South Alabama. One of their, they've had a few top all-rounders. There's Neil Patel, who was the captain. Flighted one. Keeps the batsman back in his crease. And Neil Patel has been primarily a batting all-rounder. And I'll get back to that in a second. You go ahead, David.
Right. So right now the Jodha 11 has gone to air attack. High trajectory bowling. Testing the ability for the batsman to move to the pitch of the ball. And having a good impact with it. Much to my team's chagrin. So Addy is still there, fortunately. He's on 23 now, anchoring this whole innings at the moment. And here he is up against, picks that one up well. It's up against Bakshir. Just tips away. Seeing some gritty cricket right now. So Ditcher moving on to 25 and facing again. Off breaks. Will he bring one in? We'll see. First three a little bit wide compared to his first over, which picked up 2 wickets in. This one's outside the off stump again, and Aditya's loving that. Another couple pick it up here. And Aditya beginning to motor a little bit. Looking comfortable out there at the moment. I hope not to jinx him. Backside. Really pitches that one up. And Addy picks that one. Stop there at the mid-wicket boundary. It's always good to see one batsman handling the bowling because it gives the other watching batsman confidence. Again, pitches it up straight back to the bowler off the tip of the bat. Good quick over. 5 runs off it. Score rate 507, so we're dropping a little bit, but score up to 60 for 5 with 12 overs gone. So 8 to go. So at that rate we're at about 110 runs for the innings, provided we don't lose any more wickets. Still got a little bit of batting to come. Canal into the attack and then stroked away on the offside. So the aerial attack continues. Flicks it up on the offside, and this one's Aditya gets hold of very well. So it's the Hardik. The uniforms look similar from the front. Aditya now facing. This one on the leg side, and he misses that one. It's going to be a wide. So Canal using all line. 2 outside the off stump, 1 off the side the leg. This one will come down the middle perhaps. There it goes. And Addy's using his feet very well. Slightly open stance. Here he comes again. Watches that carefully as he keeps it low. He's a very good angle player. Couple more and he goes on to 31. Out of a score of 63, he's got 50% of the runs. Not bad for a 15-year-old. Showing a lot of poise and maturity out there. Leg stump guard. Moves over to it and then just picks that one. Good wrist play there. So happy to pick up 2s on a regular basis. Score moves on to 67 for 5. And in comes Lloyd with Aditya at 33 and Hardik on 3.
Just amazing to see Addy
Great.
continue in his process of scoring and batting nicely, and also doing his bit for his team here, because
Absolutely.
we can see we saw what was happening at the other end. It was such a collapse. that one of the bowlers, Bhaskar, was on a hat trick at one point. So delightful for the young man.
Doing
So-
all that's needed of him as an anchor.
This is the American College Cricket All-Star Weekend. And this is the 2021 edition is coming back from the lockdown. Our next event will be the National Championship, March 16th to the 10th. What am I saying? March 16th to the 20th. And that will, of course, be in Florida. It'll be exciting once again to be back there and back on Sony. So some cloud cover, so the sunshine is not blanketed the stadium at all times, but nevertheless it's bright and sunny here. We're in Houston, Texas at Moosa Stadium. You're listening to David Sentence and Lloyd Judah.
The off stump there.
Bhaskar flighting that one. Miss it into the onside. No run.
Hardick having a tougher time picking it up than Addy.
Bhaskar once again struck into the offside there, and that's an example of what you need to do with flighted balls. You either go down the wicket and get it, when it's come dropping, or you go back on the back foot and play a shot. And that's been the inability of the batsman to counter the flighted ball from either Bhaskar or Keenal Patel. But that's an old skill, David.
Yep.
That's the old style of batting, which for the most part the new batsmen are not doing. But we're seeing bits of it here from Hardick. And this in fact was Addy. So Addy showing us all sorts of skills, including a little bit of old style skill, old school as they would say. And he moves on to 34.
He's been well trained.
And Bhaskar once again. Nicely cracked by Hardick going back on the back foot. They'll get a couple here. Perhaps that they could have gotten 3.
The Joda wicket-keeping's been very good.
Yes, well, I trained them very well.
I think you'd have been a good wicket-keeper, Lloyd.
Well, it's funny you should say that.
Crouched down low.
I never was a wicket keeper. Flighted again, and this one beats the bat. I was never a wicket keeper because I don't know, for whatever reason at that time you wanted to bat or bowl in those days.
Yeah.
But
You wanted to bat.
as a mature person, I appreciate what a wicket keeper does so much now that if I had to go back in time, I think I would want to be a wicket keeper and dive in right and left. It's so
I
exciting.
could see you as a goalkeeper, Lloyd.
No, goalkeeper doesn't even come close to a wicket keeper. I remember seeing the Olympics and the big fuss that was made about the American goalkeeper who was diving left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, that's when it struck me, the number of dives he's doing was nothing compared to the number of dives a wicketkeeper has to do in a match.
That's true.
And a wicketkeeper is not only diving, but he's doing other things as well.
Yeah.
And so what a lovely shot. That'll be 4 runs. He got down on one knee there.
Beautiful.
And swept that gorgeously. So Addy,
The sweep is a great shot for counteracting spin.
absolutely,
right
yes, yep.
But it has to be timed right. It's a complex shot.
Did he time it right?
He sure did.
Yes, perfect timing, just beautiful.
Actually, Addy's timing is very good.
Yeah, I don't recall him mishitting any balls. He's playing straight.
Playing well within himself.
That's the other thing about his innings. It's been what you would say is a measured innings, right, David?
Absolutely. 39 now. 77 for 5. So Addy trying to blunt the aerial attack here. He's the anti-aircraft machine right at the moment. But I think coaches should remember about those bowling machines. It's hard to get that higher trajectory, because I've been practicing against them this year and have to do still go out and do some spin practice. Sometimes technology is not the answer. Kinnell coming in now, tempting the batsman, drives past him, and there'll be a single. Good straightforward drive. Oh, lovely shot. Can I like another sweep on the leg side?
And it's 4 more.
So Aditya now moving on to 43. Total score is 78 for 5.
So this is only his second 4. I'm sorry, his third 4. And his 43 is in 38 balls. So pretty good numbers, despite the low number of boundaries. He's scoring. It's really been indicative of how he's actually handled this innings. It's been a measured innings whereby he calmly has just kept the scoreboard ticking and playing some delightful shots, getting singles and twos. And a clinic in how you can counter, what's happening from the bowlers without the need necessarily to be hitting over the fences if you're not that type of batsman.
Yeah.
Playing straight all the time, so it, of course...
He's obviously very fit too, because he's been doing a lot of running between the wickets, and I saw him training earlier. So fitness has a lot of impact when it comes to
1 second.
Rotating the running. So Addy taking chance to cool down here, as they have to rotate the balls. We found over the last few years these white balls tend to crack up a lot more quickly than the red balls. A lot of the umpires carry a extra ball with them, and they use 2 balls in a 20 over innings. So that part of the technology has changed. So Addy can be very happy with his batting right now. Good clinic, as Lloyd says, on how to move to the pitch of the ball, not be intimidated by the flight, and sweeping where necessary, heading to the off, drives, seeing a whole variety of shots. Chance to cool down now. So he's on 43 off 38 balls. Hardick on 7. Score 82 for 5. 5 overs to go. So Lloyd back into the attack.
Well, because of course the dampness out there, as we expected, a ball has lost its luster.
Did it go out of shape?
Yeah, so they're looking to change the ball, which is always a complex thing because you got to find a used ball that's
one that's 15 overs old.
More, yeah. So apparently we've been successful in that. It's like the good thing about playing here is that you're not dealing with lost balls.
Right.
So basically, it's a pleasure for, let's say, me, because it's less costly per
Yeah.
ball,
Yeah.
as opposed to, for instance, when we played in Pittsburgh or some other areas, we were losing balls all the time. And because, there are bushes, there are trees around. So apart from a weather factor sometimes, like today, but if it had not been for the dampness damaging this ball, we could have gotten through the 4 games with just 8 balls.
I can really empathize, Lloyd. I was in Arizona a couple of years ago, and we lost 15 balls in a mosquito swamp. We had a hard-hitting Jamaican just powering the ball for 6 out of the ground.
In a mosquito swamp, huh? I guess
Nobody wanted to go and retrieve, let's put it that way.
I guess it could be worse. It could be an alligator.
We can live with mosquitoes.
Yeah, alligator pond or something.
We call that blood cricket,
I can remember when we were in Dallas and we took a walk.
We did see the alligators.
Well, we saw the sign. It
Yeah.
shocked us. Alligators in
Yeah.
Texas?
Yeah. Apparently in Costa Rica, the alligators are quite vicious.
Oh, you mean that there are parts of the world where they're not?
Yeah. These are big alligators. Yeah. They probably feed on monkeys or something. Taking a middle and leg guard there. Right?
Yeah, the alligator is crocodiles too. They're an interesting species. They're almost, and it might be true. They're like a throwback to dinosaur times.
Oh yeah, dinosaur time. Yeah. As are birds.
Yeah. Now the good thing here for the sentence 11 is that Hardik has been batting well as well, so he's keeping company with Aditya, who's soldiering on like nothing has happened at the other end.
So much maturity.
Wickets? What wickets? Flight? What flight?
Yeah.
It'll be a delight to see him get his 50.
Let's not jinx him.
You believe in those jinxes?
We've had a few in this series.
Yeah, but I still say I don't. I stand firm.
We've actually had a lot of double wicket overs too.
Yeah. Yesterday, Dania did one of those, I think. Bhaskar, and not a nice. He's behind the arm, they call it. What is it? Behind the wrist, behind the arm, something like that.
Yeah.
I forget the term. And flighting the ball just perfectly. This one is more flight. Batsman picked that up
right into
in
that.
flight. Yeah, that one was just too much.
That's 4. And that's 48 for Aditya.
So that was an example where it was just overpitched just a bit too much, and the batsman made no mistake. Didn't have to move forward, just move forward just a little bit with the left leg, and striking that well, able to put it in the gap so no man was able to get to it or even try to get to it. And it's 4 runs for Addy. He moves on to 48 or 41 deliveries. So his strike rate has been good, though he is being a person who's not been hitting boundaries. So,
Well, I got one just now, right? That's 4 total.
right, but I mean in general he hasn't been striking a lot of boundaries. So he's had 4 boundaries in that 48. So as you can
So the captain now on Aditya. Bowling to Addy.
So that's 16 runs in boundaries out of 48.
Aditya bowling off the off stump, but accurate line and length. So we've taken off one of the spinners, brought on a medium fast pace.
So Bhaskar so far taking 2 wickets, and with his flight to deliveries, it's Aditya Sen coming into the wicket, coming into bowl, and Aditya yesterday showed us a sort of hybrid spin medium pace bowling, and I guess he's bowling his medium pace today, but he could easily change that and decide to bowl some fast off spin. So he makes it difficult for the batsman too, because you never know what he's going to do next. And he's got good height. He's 6'2".
He's played good cricket in India too, right?
Yes, he's played at a significant level. Played with Mohammad Siraj, who now currently play. And this one's nicely hit along the rung into the forward square leg area, getting a single.
So Aditya on 49 now facing.
Well, facing, and so far struck 4 fours in just a beautiful innings. 49 runs off 42 delivery so far. Let's see what he does here. Aditya Sen, right arm.
There's his 50.
Lovely
Tremendous.
shot down the ground.
Beautiful
and
job. He's got to feel very happy about that. Excellent effort. Stopping a collapse in the mid-wicket, showing a tremendous poise and an emotional strength. We have a star in the making, I think, Lloyd.
Yes, and he's just 15 years old. So, for anyone wondering, Addy is a 15-year-old high school player. We gave the opportunity to be a part of this American College Cricket All-Star Weekend. And this one is not struck well, but gets it into the onside by Hardik, and they'll get a single. And Addy comes back on strike with a beautifully made 50. 50 in 43 deliveries with 4 fours. And that boundary ratio shows you what kind of an innings it is, where he's kept a very good strike rate, but mainly using delightful shots that netted him singles and twos. It also highlights his fitness. He's not looked at any point in trouble.
No, not at all. He's handled just everything that's been thrown at him very well.
No no edges, no missed shots that I can think of.
Meddling in the ball all the time.
So we couldn't say enough about this innings here. It's been a delight to watch.
And this partnership is probably about 50 right now. It's getting close.
The pacer Daniel Dave back into the attack. And let's see what difference he'll make.
Because we'd had the collapse at 55 for 5, and now we're 94 for 5.
It's a partnership so far of 42. The fifth wicket
42.
fell at 52, so 42 run partnerships, 43 runs partnership so far. And Hardik Matra on 13, so playing a good innings as well, playing a supporting role.
Reaches that one. If he'd left it, I think it would have been a wide.
And Daniel put in something extra into that and got for his troubles. A ball that was wide of the off stump and might have gone for wide, as you said, had the batsman not reached for it. So Hardik also, like we were saying, has done a valuable task here. Help steady the ship.
Good example of how you farm the strike.
And that was nicely played into the covers there, all along the ground for 2 well-run runs. Further indication of how Addy has been batting, getting those twos and singles to bring his total up to 52. It's the second 50 of the weekend, following 95 by Nil Patel. A completely different type of innings.
Oh, yeah.
A strike rate of nearly 200, where he hit the ball all over the place. And a brief innings of 28 by Ryan Scott. Daniel Dave comes running in, right arm. And this one is hit well, and that'll be 4 runs. Well, I spoke prematurely. The fielder runs around and gets to it.
Certainly middled it.
Yeah, that was a good-looking shot from Hardik Matra, Syracuse University. And also it's an harbinger of what, he needs to do right now, which is both batsmen. We're now with just 3 overs left. Well, less than 3 overs.
Wickets in hand, too.
Yeah, so they can try to hit the ball for some boundaries here.
Yeah, so we got a role alteration for the two batsmen that have really dug in there and stopped a collapse. Now they've got to be aggressive.
Hardik himself is pretty young. He's freshman in college at Syracuse University.
Hits that one well.
So at most he's 21. He's somewhere in that region, around 20 or so. And as we were saying yesterday, played most of his early cricket in Hong Kong. And then later in New Jersey before going to college at Syracuse University, which is upstate New York.
That part of New York's very beautiful, isn't it, Lauren?
Yeah, it's basically almost like
Valley.
New England area. It's almost, even though it's now really traditionally considered part of the New England area, because New York is New York. Oh, what a shot.
It's unique.
Oh, what fielding. A nice throw, even though he missed the stump. So that would seem like a definite 4, except that the fielder was there.
Yeah.
You know, that gets in the way sometimes.
It does. It's amazing what those fielders can do.
Yeah.
Well, we are a century now. We're 100 up for 5 wickets.
And 2 more runs for a 50 partnership. It's one of the reasons that, as I once wrote, you know, the cricketer who invented golf decided, let's do away with the fielders. Let's just hit the ball.
You think you're Bart Starr, huh?
Nicely struck
Bart
down
King.
the wicket, but there's a man down on the long off boundary that will feel that, so they just get a singler. So, yeah, it's a cricketer who invented golf, David. And he said, no fielders. I don't want anybody stopping the ball when I hit it. Plus, don't throw that ball at me. I want to hit this ball that's just set there in place for me to hit it. Up in the air.
Lofted it and drops in front of the fielder. And they are trying to hit out best they can.
Yeah, but you can see from their style that they're not that type of batsman.
They're not the Patel type hit.
It is, yeah. But, you know, they'll do what they can do, and they've done an amazing job to get a 50 partnership right now.
Yeah.
Hardik on 14, and the bulk of the runs has come from Addy. And this one might run down to the boundary from that edge, or let's see if there's a signal of buys. It's 4. He did get a bat to it.
So where there's a will, there's a way, huh?
Yeah, yeah, certainly. At the end of the day, they'll just put on 4 runs to the total, and nobody will know that it came from an edge. And by the way, that was from Hardik, so that's the other thing. We haven't seen an edge from Aditya, have you?
No.
Right.
Now Hardik's still having a little trouble getting to the pitch of the ball and so on.
But he's done a magnificent job.
Oh, he's done what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Addy getting right behind that.
No, that was Hardik again.
Well, he played that one right then. Got to give him credit.
So with 1 over left, the scoring rate is not, you know, they really where they really wanted to be, but considering they were 52 for the loss of 5 wickets.
Yeah, good recovery. 6 and over will win this match, but see what happens in this last over.
Now in this final over, the challenge will be to get Danya Dave, who is a very good pacer, away. Let's see what Addy does.
Oh, lovely shot. Drops in front of the fielder, so just a single.
Daniel Dave came down from Canada. He was set to play in the All-Star matches in Fort Lauderdale last year, March, as we watch him come run in. And he pulls that down to the mid-wicket area. Man will run around. They'll just get 2. And, of course, the lockdown happened, and so only one of those games was played. Disappointment for the young pacer, but he was happy to get this opportunity again this weekend, and he's shown us what he can do. So look to see more of him in American college cricket, Canadian college cricket, and who knows, possibly in the Canadian team.
Nice looking shot.
Both USA and Canada have qualified for the global qualifiers for the T20 World Cup. So it's inspiring for young cricketers who can have an end goal of making their national side. Not everybody, of course, is going to make it, but as a goal, it can be very inspiring. Nice looking cover drive. Fielder and covers gets a hand to it. So it'll just be a couple.
Now, that's a good point you make there, Lloyd, about the pathways to success in cricket in the next 10 years, as you just pointed out. Looks very promising for somebody like Addy, who's just 15 years old. He'll be 25 by the end of the decade. So
yeah, and so much
cricket.
Big things happening before.
Yeah.
That, just a reason to stay in the game. And I'm happy we gave him this opportunity.
Definitely paid off.
Has been a delight to watch. His father is here, of course, came with him. And, of course, he couldn't get these opportunities without the support of a parent.
Absolutely.
I want to thank Bajwa and Ali working behind the scenes.
Shot.
And they have done a magnificent job both yesterday and today. So, as this innings is coming to an end, and it does. So, let's see what the Joda 11, how they will attack this total. And not a bad total in the end, because
could have been a lot worse.
A recovery from 52 for 5 to this now.
112 for 5 and a 50 partnership. So, got to congratulate those two players for.
And actually 114 for 5, so it's a 62-run partnership. Addy ends on 61 off 54 deliveries. Hardik 21 off 33 deliveries. And it's been awesome watching Addy in particular bat. He struck 4 fours in his 61, strike rate of 112. And Hardik matched 21 and 33 deliveries with 1-4. Has been the next batsman, and Husnain Bashir had 13 off of 16 balls. The pick of the bowlers was Bhaskar Trivedi of University of Texas Arlington, 2 wickets for 17 runs off his 4. Liket Reddy, University of Texas Arlington, took 1 for 6. Kinul Patel, 1 for 24. And Danny Dave, 1 for 27. So join us back in about 5 minutes for the second innings as the Joda 11 chases this total of 114 to see if they can win this. Thank you for listening and watching, and join us back.
So the Joda team is now out on the field, ready to bat. And Sentence team needs to keep them to 100, below 114 to win. Be nice to get a win. Looking a lot more confident today. A few clouds coming across. Some looking somewhat rain laden. We're expecting rain later on this afternoon when University of Arlington will be playing. So the Joda team chasing the Sentence team that did scored 114 for 5 in their 20 overs. So it'll be a 5.7 score rate needed to win the match. Joda team doing their final stretches. The umpires have done an excellent job. No contentious calls at all throughout the 2 days. So Bashir in the Marine Inn, wicket keeping today. And Nauman will be the opening bowler. He has a very strong run-up. Captain of the Sentence team, I believe, Lloyd.
No, the captain is Abdul.
Abdul today. Shows you how much input I've had.
That's why how funny it must have sounded. Yeah, you've been very involved with your team. Perhaps you should have invited them out for some wine.
Oh, perhaps tonight. So Nauman just adjusting his field. I'd love a couple of quick wickets here. Nauman has a real lumbering run-up, rocking from one side to the next. Powerful delivery stride, though. So, in he comes. Right arm over. Moves the ball away. Late swing. That one's close to wide. It is a wide. So T20 cricket, they try to keep it on this offside corridor, keep the runs down that way. And even the batsmen are trying to counteract it with an offside guard on some occasions. No longer a corridor of uncertainty.
Here comes Norman Zafar from Humber College outside the off stump. And they'll scamper a bye. So Norman, of course, has played for Canada. 2019, he was selected for the Canadian team to play in the Caribbean Super 50. And as you can tell from his smooth run-up and delivery, a bowler that is a pleasure to watch as well. The opening batsman for the Georgia team is Keenal Patel and Manish. Manish is from UT Arlington. Keenal Patel is from University of South Alabama. And being in Texas here, of course, you turn on the TV, you see lots of college football, high school football. There's football everywhere. And it's been fun to catch glimpses of that whilst eating or in the bar, as this one is edged down behind the keeper, and they'll get a single for that. And we have been to a bar as well as a restaurant to eat and caught glimpses of those college and high school football on TV, and did some singing at Hunter's Pub. So I was able to get in some country music while David clapped. Here comes Norman.
David clap.
Norman Zafar, bowling well. Just an energetic run-up and delivery. I tried to encourage David to sing a song or two, and he was tempted. For some reason, he brought up Leaving on a Jet Plane, so I offered to do backup on that. But ultimately, we had to leave because didn't want to spend too long out since we had to be up and on the commentary today. Instead of coming back at the batsman, that one went just slightly away and through to the keeper.
It's actually a good over here by Norman.
Yeah, just 2 runs scored so far. This will be his 6th delivery. And, of course, power play. So 2 runs is great for an over from a bowling perspective. Now, the clouds have changed somewhat, even though the sun is still bright here, as Norman Zafar comes in.
Almost got an edge there.
And the clouds are now grey for the most part, while the bright sunshine is still covering the ground. Not too hot, so
No, it's nice playing conditions. Good breeze and cool. Not humid like in the summer.
And that was an accidental advantage of, when I had to pick a cricket season, it came down to autumn for college cricket. And the weather ended up being an accidental benefit.
Right.
And it wouldn't be blazing sunshine in no part of the country, really. Of course, the slight downside in like the Midwest was the weather was would start to turn in September. So our Midwest Championship has suffered from rain often in Detroit. But other than that, it's been a pretty good time to play cricket. And really and truly, it's another innovation in cricket in the United States. When we started playing in autumn, there was no autumn cricket going on in the United States.
That's true.
And subsequently, after a few years of doing that, the local league started to figure out that they could play in the autumn too.
Yeah.
So they would extend their season, plus they would add on T20 tournaments.
Definitely seen that in Southern California with a 60 tournament just completed, and then youth tournament starting next week.
There you go, perfect examples.
Yeah.
And what happened was, initially in the first few years, it was easy. We had a pick of fields.
Yeah.
And basically the only drawback was some of the fields, the permits would have expired. A
Right.
nice shot. Oh, what a beautiful shot. But there's a man right down there for that shot. Somebody must know that batsman. They put a fielder right down there for that shot. As glorious as it was, it went directly to the fielder, albeit on the boundary. And what happened was, yes, many fields of permits might have expired, but other than that, we had our choice of fields. What began to happen after a few years, 5 years or more, was then, since seasons were extended, it meant that we were now competing for fields. And so even though we still did get fields, it was a bit more challenging than when we started. So our innovation actually ended up
Being self-defeating.
Yeah.
Although Saki's ground here has really helped a lot. And Houston has become quite a capital for cricket because it's easy to get to from around the United States. You've got 2 Canadian players that are able to come down. And the weather is equable for most of the year. And a great stadium to boot.
So some waving of the arms there by the bowler. Rahul Gurjala.
Bit of a crosswind, as you can see from the umpire's uniform.
And Rahul gingerly walking because he had a calf muscle injury yesterday. It's not often we get calf muscle injuries, but this time we did.
It's nothing to have a cow about, is it?
Good point. I thought you were going to say it's a moving story.
We are in the land of cows, after all. Longhorns. Actually, Lloyd, I thought by now you'd have a pair of cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. What's going on?
Man, I really want a cowboy hat, and I'm going to see if I get the chance to pick up one because it's been a while since I've had one.
Yeah, you without your cowboy hat.
It would have been nice to show up at the bar to sing with my cowboy hat.
Just about every bar I've been into has a longhorn hanging over the whiskey.
And one or two people with cowboy hats. As a matter of fact, it would have been awesome to be introduced as he did introduce me as the man from New York and be wearing a cowboy hat.
Perfect. I've got to get you one of those big buckles, you know. Beautiful piece of bowling. Straight back to mid-on. Yeah, I like those Texas buckles. You know, I think you could have American college cricket buckle. The 1859 team to England, from England to New York, they had buckles. Quite valuable now. All those cricketers used to wear belts with a buckle.
Yeah, I know they used to wear belts.
Yeah.
Yep. I think
no elastic in those days.
I think we'll put the buckles on the back agenda. Nice shot over the cover area. That could run away for 4, and it does despite the chasing fielder. So 4 runs from a gorgeous shot from Manish over the cover area.
But Senton's team is loving the run rate at 3.86, so the opening bowlers are doing their job. .106 needed by the Joda team. Nauman bowling very tidily at the moment, apart for the last 4. Just jinxed him. Couple of that.
Well, the thing about Nauman, apart from his smooth run-up on action, is that he one of his strengths is the ability to put the ball in a certain spot that really challenges the batsman, because it's, his line and length is pretty good. And it's sort of like dipping into the batsman.
It's a lovely flick.
A lovely flick. Will it get to the boundary? And it does. So 4 runs there from that delightful flick by Kinal Patel of South Alabama. And what happened there, of course, was I was saying that Norman normally puts it like well where he wants it to.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit more to middle, to leg, and gave the batsman the opportunity to flick it, mainly because this batsman plays that shot well.
Yeah.
Not everybody does. They're so accustomed to leaving the ball down the legs that's going to leg and not hitting it, that shot they're not necessarily developing.
Right.
But Kinal Patel obviously can play that shot well. And it was a joy to see. I actually love that shot. It's a shot that I used to play when I played.
It's a very efficient shot.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful, done well. Of course, Ranjit Singh is considered to be the inventor of that shot. But if he hadn't, I would have invented it.
Yeah, it's a little before your time, right?
Yeah,
Just a little.
That is true. Oh, wow. Pulls that nicely, but gorgeous feeling there in the mid-wicket, mid-on area.
Great
Man
piece of
rolling
feeling.
around and getting that. He was practically following. I think that's what the lines of the song "Rolling in the Deep" is about, because he was rolling in the deep.
Oh, he's rolling in the deep.
Yeah.
Ranji's like you. I mean, he was able to have that sartorial elegance in his clothing.
Yes. And of course, that's a nice shot out in the point area. They get a single. And of course, the Ranji Trophy is named after him. However, he didn't actually play for India. He played for England.
That's right.
But he's worthy of that honor, so I'm glad that still holds true.
Yeah, the Nab Patiala provided that trophy, the Ranji Trophy, in 1934. He loved his cricket. He actually funded the first India tour of England in 1911. And then the subsequent one, I think, in 1932.
And speaking of 1932, that was when Don Bradman went on his honeymoon.
He was just breaking through. Yeah.
He went on his honeymoon and scored over 2,000 runs.
Yeah. Must have been having a good time.
Yeah. Man, he's the only man in history to do something like that. Not just score 2,000 runs, but he did it on his honeymoon.
Well, the Maharaja of Patiala had quite a few concubines, you know.
Those were the days.
Yeah, they were. You talk about sartorial elegance. Clothing in those days.
Don Bradman, man. Guy goes on his honeymoon and scores thousands of runs.
He had to take a break now and again.
Nothing will stop him. Of course, I'm sure his wife wanted him to take a break now and again. Nothing would stop him from scoring runs.
He was very single-minded.
Yeah. Honeymoon? Sure. Where are the cricket fields in the US and Canada?
He went beyond the boundary on his
Yeah,
honeymoon.
yes. He played
That's
at
straight shot.
He played at McGill University.
Yep.
What's now the Molson Stadium. He
Kazaa
played in
Stadium.
Pardon?
Kazaa Stadium in San Francisco.
Right. He played in Stanley Park.
Yeah.
In
UCLA,
Vancouver, UCLA.
1932.
I think he played in Staten Island, that old field that's
Yeah.
there.
He did. Stevens Park in Chicago.
And this one drops well short of man on the long on boundary, and they get a run. So 19 without loss, and we're in the coming to the end of the fourth over. So mild scoring rate of just under 5, but of course
We have some explosive batting sitting in the changing room.
you can say that again. Say it again. You can't take a hint, David. Yeah, there's
Who's our explosive batsman, Lloyd?
Neil Patel, 95 in the
Last innings.
yes. Just hit the ball all over the place, but he was only doing what we expected.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know from Don Bradman's wife. Of course, she's long gone, but what she thought of that honeymoon.
She is related to, I think, Viv Richardson. I think she was a
Vic
sister.
Richardson, the English.
No, the Australian. No, what am I thinking about? Armstrong. Yeah, Armstrong. There was a connection there with the Chappell family. But Bradman said he liked playing at Brockton Point the most. He found that the prettiest ground in his whole career.
Oh, really?
In Canada, yeah. British Columbia. He loved that ground. It is amazing because while you're batting, the float planes come off. The sound there.
I would have thought he thought all grounds are beautiful. Man, just score runs everywhere. Oh, this is a beautiful ground. What's so beautiful about it, Dan? Well, I just scored a double century.
He's into scenic beauty.
Yeah, a double century in 4 hours. This one is chipped down to the long on area. It'll run for 2. Comfortably.
Yeah, when you like to be able to bat like that, where you, after 200 you choose who you're going to get out to. Just
I
played the best.
I think I'll disagree there. That didn't apply to Bradman. Maybe other people. Bradman never chose a person to get out to.
I beg to differ, but I won't be pedantic.
Bradman, yeah, sure, sometimes he got out, but it wasn't his intention. Tired of batting? Not Bradman.
They actually played 53 games on that tour. A lot of cricket.
Yeah.
They start off in East Coast and ended up in California via Canada.
Yep.
I think they use the railways a lot.
Yeah, traveling had to be really hard back in those days.
Yeah. None of this flying in moment's notice.
Nice looking shot there. Down to the square leg boundary, they'll get at least 2. It's a lovely flick. And that was Keenan Patel once again. Plays that shot very well.
There's a movie called Flickers with Sir Aubrey Smith showing Hollywood in the 1930s, and he's in his cricket gear.
Ah, nice.
It's one he did when the Australian cricket team came into Los Angeles. I don't know whether Bradman's in it. Ashley Mallett is.
And of course, you and I visited. You probably did it a number of times, but you and I together visited where the Hollywood Cricket Club used to be,
yeah.
And the pavilion is still there.
They picked that up in 1933, and I think the UCLA game with the Australians may have helped them, when they were promoting what cricket could do for Los Angeles at that time. And of course, that's during the Olympics. Or the same year they had the Olympics.
Where was the Olympics that year?
Well, where USC played yesterday, UCLA, that was
The Coliseum.
part of it, yeah. I think they must have had some events in the Rose Bowl as well. And then they had the rowing down in Long Beach, one of our old cricket pitches there. It was a very compact Olympics, less events in those days.
Oh, of course.
There's a great picture of the Indian hockey team, all in their Union Jack outfits.
And back in those days, they were like champions.
They were. Mainly from the Punjab. Most of those hockey players came from the Punjab.
My older brother, Colin Michael, he actually, by the way, he was named after Colin Michael Cowdrey, the English captain. So he played field hockey for Guyana.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, he was
a
tremendous
very fast sport.
Tremendous athlete, one of the best athletes I've ever known. And he played, every sport he played well.
Yeah.
And hockey played well enough. And of course, at some point you have to pick a sport because the time constraints, right? So he played that enough to get into the Guyana hockey side. And that's a lovely cover drive. The fielder won't get to it. You could see it speeding up on the outfield as the outfield is probably dried out by now. And that's 4 runs.
So your score rate's coming up with 32 for no wicket. That's a good opening partnership.
And Kinal Patel, they're playing a glorious cover drive. So he represented Guyana in that, but he also played table tennis, volleyball. He was a swimmer competitively. Wow. He played soccer. I might be missing a sport. Oh, badminton, yeah.
What about cricket?
Of course, cricket was a given, like speaking English.
Okay.
For every boy of Indian background growing up in Guyana, cricket was a given. That was, as a matter of fact, that's the only sport generally people of that background played. My brother was such an exception. He played all sports.
That's amazing.
But one of the reasons was because the school we went to gave us the opportunity to play different sports, Queen's College.
Yeah, that was Queen's.
So
right?
So I in turn played a few different sports, but I was nowhere near being the athlete that he was. Just a tremendous athlete and so unique, because it wasn't like within the demographic to do these things.
Right.
And of course, back in those days, especially when you were playing certain sports, you were also crossing certain barriers.
Yeah. So why was it a given cricket in Guyana as opposed to soccer or hockey? Or why do you think they settled on cricket?
I really don't know. I just know that if you were of Indian background in Guyana over the decades, cricket is what you played.
Probably where they had their first success, in terms of...
No, I don't even think it has to do with that, but it was just that that's the sport you played, whether it's because you got the exposure to it or what. Of course, you have to get the exposure before you will pick a sport.
Right.
So it could have been the only sport they were exposed to, but for whatever reason... Let's put it this way. Let's turn it around from the people to the sport. Cricket is something that once you're exposed to it and you get into it even a little bit, it like hypnotizes you. It pulls you in, right? And then all the other attributes of the game wrap its arms around you. So then you pass that enthusiasm on. And so we've seen it and so on. So I would more, without knowing specifically why that process happened, I would say the game just drew these guys in.
Although
but there's another aspect, pardon me, for you. Here's Akash. Nice shot in the covers. That'll get the 4 because he placed it really well. And so that's Kinal Patel once again. So the score moves up to 37 without loss. Kinal Patel on 22. And we're in the 7th over. Akash getting greeted by being struck for 4. There is one thing I could say, though, that could attract people to the game, even if they've never played. Hitting the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You can give somebody, and I've done this experiment, a bat, and even if you don't say bowl, you throw that ball to them and they hit it, there's a feeling that they get of satisfaction that they hit that ball.
Right.
Right? And that can lead to them wanting to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something about the game that can attract you. And then, of course, I don't think this really applied back then, size. But we now know that any size can play in the game, so you don't feel like you're watching a bunch of tall guys playing basketball, for instance.
Right. Yeah. So it's not exclusive.
Yeah. So
Physical stuff.
yeah, I really flighted ball there, played out into the offside. I really wouldn't be further than speculation. I couldn't really tell why that happened, but that's how it happened.
And I put sugar in there as well. I mean, I think the stability of the sugarcane plantations and the way they funded local cricket.
Well,
in those
right. You brought that up
cooperatives.
yesterday, and I'm sure there should be some truth to that. Because, again, if you're not exposed to the sport, how are you going to play it?
Yeah.
And then, of course, beyond just playing pickup games, to play at any organized level, you need some sort of structure, which the sugar plantations offered.
And you would get promotion if you're a good cricketer. If you're, a cane cutter.
You probably know the
you'd move
history
up
of
to
that.
Administration. Yeah.
In fact, to expand a little bit on that point, after that lovely cover drive down, but there's a man down there now, so it's just a single. Rohan Kanai was actually discovered by Clyde Walcott, who was employed by the sugar estates
There you go.
to go around
Yeah.
sort of identifying cricketers.
And Joe Solomon, who threw that ball in the Tide Test, he actually ended up as a coach for the sugar plantations. Then he came over and coached in the United States back in the late 50s. So it's been a strong Guyanese connection with U.S. cricket.
Is Joe Solomon still? Do you know if he's still alive?
I think he is. I ran into somebody recently who said that they'd met him.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah. Well, it's a good game so far. Good opening partnership of 42. Kunal on 24, Manish on 13. Akash getting tagged here a little bit.
Yeah, so that's, even though at this point it's looking like Joda 11 can get this win relatively easily, we've been treated to some lovely shots.
Oh, we saw a great innings and improving each time that it came out to bat.
But I mean, even in this innings here, Kinil Patel is delighting us with some shots.
Yeah.
Manish has played a couple of good shots as well. We've seen cover drives and flicks that are just delightful.
And we've got a lot more batting to come. We do need a breakthrough here, sentence.
And we are at Moosa Stadium in Houston. Moosa Stadium, established by Saki Mohammed around 2013 or thereabouts. American college cricket has been playing at Moosa Stadium since 2014. And it's a wonderful facility. It's the first privately funded cricket facility, and basically pioneering. So we always, we can't stop giving credit to pioneer Saki Mohammed in choosing to do this, because that's what cricket had lacked for a long time until recently, when others started to follow Saki. Private investment in infrastructure as opposed to just playing in the parks and so on, which we're grateful for what the parks have provided in different parts of the country, but that has its limitations. And of course, we all run into the limitation of the grassland. So always a need, and was always a need for private facilities. Nice looking shot. He made room and played that into the covers, more like a point area, and that's 2 runs. So that was played by Manish, and moves on to 16. Kinal Patel. Manish is from University of Texas, Arlington. Kinal Patel is from University of South Alabama.
Been a very good player for them.
Yes, definitely.
Very consistent. Seen some good cricket this weekend, Lloyd.
Always a delight when we have our All-Star weekend, or any tournament for that matter. It's a pleasure interacting with the guys. It's usually a very pleasant experience. And that really spoils you for the because you get accustomed to not just a good level of cricket, but also the fact that
you're dealing with intelligent human beings who solve problems.
Exactly. And in the meantime,
we're back on the strip. Not the Sunset Strip.
Change of gloves. I was trying to figure out what was happening there because I didn't see any wicket falling.
Gatting, when he got his 330 runs, went through 7 pairs of gloves. Actually, 7 left-handers and 2 right. So they changed every 50 overs. 50 runs.
Yeah, I can imagine how sweaty and so on the gloves gets.
2 days of batting,
Yeah.
Test cricket. Against India.
Flighted. And he hits that up in the air. The man settled down. He holds on to the catch.
And he got it.
Yep.
I'm happy for Akash because he's had a couple of rough outings. It's good for him to get a wicket. Of course, you're probably not happy, Lloyd.
No. As we said, the names of the teams are really just done because we have to name the teams. They're all American College Cricket All-Stars. And Kinal Patel goes for a well-made 26. And he's been a batsman who's been in form this weekend and shown us why has been one of South Alabama's top batsmen and helped them get to the finals of the national championship in 2018, and that was also on Sony. So he played the semis and the finals on Sony. So got a privilege that's only given to a few in the world of cricket to be seen on Sony.
I think Yudhishthira is letting those that haven't batted come in and get some practice, because normally your man would be in on this number 3.
Yeah, there's no need to really send Neil Patel because he could go demoralize the whole field team in a couple of overs. And, just win it easily when there are other batsmen who usually come lower in the order, haven't had much of an opportunity to bat. So it's a good thing to do.
You need to blood them a little bit.
Vamsi is from Fresno State alumni.
Fellow Californian.
Yes. We've had 2 here this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The other is Jaideep Reddy, who actually lives in San Diego, but he actually went to college in University of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Moved to California a few years ago, at least 5 years ago.
So he had contacted me before this game and told me he was playing for San Diego. So I didn't realize he was an American college cricket alum. So
yep.
That's what you learn on these weekends. And there are a lot of American college cricket alums doing well now.
Absolutely, because, these players... Here's, in brief, what is one way it happened. Guys came here to go to college, didn't think they'd necessarily be playing cricket, right? As Akash comes in, right arm, and this is pulled away in the air, but there's a man down there, we'll stop it from going to the boundary. And playing American college cricket for their college, they realize there is cricket here, there is highly competitive cricket. So they get back their juices flowing, but they're now in the perfect position because they're able to play the game they love, but fulfilling their parents' wishes, which is getting their education. So win-win for them.
Yeah.
And then this one is back past the bowler, who is not able to stop it. They'll get a single. And then once they graduate and are working here, they want to continue playing. So it's one of the reasons the leagues around the U.S., I saw this change over the last 11 years.
Right.
They've gotten younger.
Yes.
Because when we started American college cricket, the leagues most of the players were old.
Yeah. And it's actually probably the reason you got Masters cricket now,
Yeah.
50s and 60s.
And this is really where the game needed to go.
Yeah.
Where the
Segregated by age, in some ways.
precisely.
Yeah.
You can't further the game. And by the way, I'm grateful that this is a game that people can continue to play at all ages. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for all the guys who helped establish the fields that we had, in
Yeah.
different places, as as few as they were,
Right.
and as remote as they were fields. And then the other thing is, of course, they at least ensured the game still lived, even if it was mostly in obscurity. So we are grateful for that. But in terms of progressing, in terms of levels in world cricket and so on, that was not going to do it. You needed to.
Well, also it's a sort of an abuse of the younger players because they would be put in the hard fielding positions.
Yeah.
And the older guys would just amble around.
And not even allowed
And
on
they
the
lose their
11.
edge in the process. It's like playing county cricket in England, So having people play amongst their peers really is the best way to get some creative juices going, I think.
Absolutely. And encouragement.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's your reason for turning up?
There's no excuse that it was an old geezer or any of that. You've got to have your skills up to.
And the
earn
truth
respect.
is, that was happening up to even recently,
Yeah.
to some extent, but it was changing over the last 10 years.
Yeah. Now that and the grounds, sort of dedicated cricket grounds, was the next stage needed to move cricket up, I think, in the United States.
Well, that's definitely a huge factor that has still not been fully implemented, but at least more people realize it now. This one pops up into the air, the umpire won't take the catch, he backs away.
Shows a lot of awareness of the field. It's a hard judge, that, isn't it, to run into a catch like that?
Yeah, and they were a bit too far as well.
For the most part, the fielding has been very good this weekend.
Yes.
Athletic, at any rate. A lot of chase. Not too many injuries.
We've actually had a few. Now, of course, for anyone watching, we're at Moosa Stadium. This has proper side screens. It has nets to the side covered. So even if it's raining, you could potentially still be using the nets, practice nets. And, of course, it has dressing rooms for each side, home and away. And we're in a broadcast booth, a proper broadcast booth, air-conditioned.
And actual flush toilets, which is very rare in
Quite a few,
American cricket.
So that's a big plus.
Plus a washing machine and showers. I mean, that's all good stuff.
Yeah, Saki has tried over the years to develop it according to the requirements of the ICC. And obviously, hopefully, ultimately to have that approval for instance, that Broward has.
Next up, some floodlights, I think.
Yeah. Now, the lights can be pretty expensive. I was there when the new lights were put in for Broward. They always had lights which we played under, but in terms of ICC certification, they had to change those. And Worldwide, a company which has the rights to manage the stadium for cricket events, actually put in new lights back in 2018. And they're now able to host night cricket at an international level.
That allowed them to do the CPL?
Well, they did the CPL before, but if you're doing summer cricket in Florida, you don't really want to be doing it in the day. The sun is, and the heat is really hot. I mean, they did do it initially, but then once they put in the new lights, they were able to change those matches to nighttime, which is a whole nother experience.
Right.
Because I happened to be there one evening for one of those matches.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful in the evening to be sitting there and watching cricket. Yeah. It was a completely different experience.
And the lights, yeah.
However, like when India plays, they're going to do the matches in the morning because they want to sync with Indian peak time.
Akash, the new bowler.
Hasnain Bashir doing wicket-keeping duties this weekend. And normally he's been playing primarily as a batsman, which he is not this weekend so far. He's now really come off, even though he was showing promising signs in his third innings.
Yeah, homegrown player, right?
Yes, absolutely. Learned his cricket in college. So it's a remarkable story from a cricket perspective as well, to pick up the skills so quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's a factor behind him being even more disappointed that he hasn't shown that this weekend.
Right.
Because he just put so much into his game. But I would say that having to wicket keep full time too, when he doesn't normally do that, can be a factor, that has affected his batting.
It's quite a pressure.
Yeah, he hasn't said that, but I would say that logically it must have some effect.
I was chatting to him earlier, and he says he loves crawling around in the mud, and he loves just the grit of marine life. So hopefully that'll help him with his wicket-keeping. We did have a nasty accident in one of the earlier games where the ball was driven right into the helmet of the batsman that was not playing the ball.
A nice drive on. He sort of checked the shot so it wouldn't go too far in the air, and they get a single. Nice control there of the ball. Well, I guess that's one way to describe it. I personally just see it as part of the game, because as injuries go, cricket actually does really well. Your injuries they're not as much as, let's say,
career ending.
Yeah. And
you don't get so many torn ACLs. I mean, that's a career ending injury.
There you go. I mean, it's rare.
Yeah.
It's very rare. So no one can say it's a sport where there are no injuries, but generally speaking,
bruises, broken webbing.
You can live with the injuries of cricket. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, you have to.
No, I like it because
it's a black and blue sport.
The thing is, if there's no element of danger,
oh yeah,
what is the sport? Are you going to play it?
I always thought it was the perfect COVID sport. Really no contact, but then they complained about the leather ball as part of the COVID protocol.
They were making up stuff, basically.
As we found out in Florida, right?
Oh.
Reaches out for that one.
And that's 6 runs. And that's the left-hander, Vamsey, University of Texas, Arlington. And it's been a while since we've seen a 6. So there it is.
It's first one of this game. And the score at 66 for 1.
I mean, when you watch a football game, there's potential for injury on every play.
Yeah.
Guys crashing into each other, and some of those guys are massive even at a high school level.
Yeah, pounding each other at 300 pounds a pop.
Yeah.
It's quite a collision.
Most of the danger in American college cricket is the batsman versus the fast bowlers.
Mm-hmm.
But the batsmen now are well protected.
Yeah, I remember starting my career playing in a floppy hat. No helmets. I think, who was the first? There was the English batsman that came in, and then Gavaskar, of course, came in with a helmet. I mean, he handled fast bowling better than any other batsman.
Right.
And that helmet was quite useful.
But the actual introduction of helmets was by Packer.
Yeah, on a regular basis.
Yeah,
he industrialized it.
Yep.
We went from craft to
and the colored
industry.
clothing as well.
Yeah.
Kerry Packer.
Yes, we owe him a lot.
His son at one point was engaged to Mariah Carey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't last longer.
I can't remember the reason. Anyway, this one struck in the air. And the man running around stops it from going into the boundary. So, not a 4. I can't remember the reason why they split apart, but it just happened suddenly, inexplicably. And I haven't chatted with Mariah Carey for a while.
Not
so
recently.
She never told me the reason now.
Well, you shouldn't have stayed so long at Madonna's house.
No, I was never.
You missed your opportunity.
Everybody else was there, but not me.
You missed your opportunity, though.
I passed and I saw the line, and I was like, no. It's kind of like the line we saw at the Terminal C. It's multi-layers.
So Vamsi on 11 and Manish on 24. Ajeev trying to get some movement off his wicket. He's not doing it so much in the air. Simple single. So Joda's tooling along here at 68 for 1. 11 overs gone. And right on the run rate they need to win. Straight to the mid-on fielder. I would say we need another wicket, Lloyd, but sentence 11 needs another wicket, but we've got quite a lot of good batting and a strength and tail.
Lovely shot. He put one knee down there and swept that for 6.
I think it's one of the best shots we've seen of the tournament, actually. It was beautiful sweep.
So Vamsi from Fresno State moves on to 18. Manish, University of Texas Arlington on 25. And it's 75 for 1. The required run rate for the remaining runs is 5. And the remaining runs is 40. So the bowler is Ravi Vats. Well, now there will be a new bowler coming on.
Yeah, the sentence bowler's struggling a bit. Nice piece of running there by Vamsi, just demonstrating how you stretch out that bat. Good for the youngsters to see. So these two playing very comfortably together. Nice partnership. Another sweep. Is it a catch this time? They're on the boundary and he's out.
Very good catch. That's by Ryan Kapoor. And he's marching in, very satisfied with that catch, as he should be.
He can be, because he's right to the point where he might have had to step over the boundary, so picked that up very nicely.
Yeah,
a very useful wicket.
When you take a great catch, you deserve whatever.
He's strutting his stuff, is what you're saying, Lloyd.
Yep, and validly so.
Yeah, it's looking a bit grayer, isn't it? Potential rain.
No, well, actually, the clouds have cleared up from where they were about an hour ago when I first talked about them. They were gray, yeah. Now we see more patches of lighter clouds, and they're also not as heavy as they were. So I'm actually
optimistic
that it's not going to be as things can change very quickly. But I'm at this moment I'm optimistic that it's not going to be the 30% chance they say. That we're probably going to just not get much of it. But we'll see. Of course, nothing really certain.
Talking about the glorious uncertainties of life, huh?
And I don't really live down here, so whilst I'm speculating based on what I think I see. When you live in an area, you can know a lot more about how things go.
Bashir is standing up to the wicket. So Manish, 27 now. Likith, the new batsman. Akash, the bowler. 2 wickets for 25. He's got both wickets. Score at 77 for 2. That was catchable. When you stand up that close, it's instant reaction. Oh, he picked that up on the full. Stop though. Batsman having a little chat in the middle. A little bit of a field reset. We're at 15th over. No, 13th. So Akash 1 wicket in this over. And the 3 runs. Moving in a 3rd man. Almost beats the batsman for flight there. Unusual action, Akash. So I think Ajeev, that's the bowler. Couple of runs there. It's almost so he's pushing the ball with his shoulder as he delivers. Score 78 for 2. Delicate off the mark.
If you want to take a break, just let me know. Let me take a few minutes.
Pushes that one down on the leg side. Nothing doing. So the Jodha 11, 86 for 2 now. Required run rate of 4.46. So they're ahead of the curve. That's going to be a wide. Yeah, the sentence bowling could have been a little tighter, more penetrative. This one's on length. It's Goes down on his knee and pushes it out on the offside, and it's just stopped at the boundary. Oh, it went. Good effort there by the fielder. Deep extra cover. And now Joda's 11 soldiering along nicely. Or motoring, as the case may be. .91 for 2. Run rate decreasing to 3.79. They're in command. Likith now on 8 and Manish 31. Just pushes this around the leg side. Be a single. It was a tickle. A little bit wide and called again. 3 wides in this over. That's not good. Gives the batting side another scoring opportunity. That's over. So 93 for 2, 14 overs. So they may bring on the quicks as the score. They just need 114, so 12 runs needed. Oh, sorry, 22 runs needed. Spinners stay on. Surab the bowler. Head on to the offside. Stopped at mid-wicket for a single. So Manish facing now is on 32. Swings this one over to leg. And it's stopped there at mid-on. Pushes that one on the offside. And it's caught. Nice catch right on the boundary. So the spinner's taking a gradual toll here, but we need to pick it up a little bit. But a very useful wicket, breaking up a confident looking partnership there. Tasarab creating a breakthrough. Much needed. Danyudi, the incoming batsman. Manish on 33, so he's got a good anchor. Danya did a lot of bowling earlier today. And right at the end of the tail you have Mahal Patel, who's a 240 strike right hitter, so not needed at the moment. Good piece of fielding by Saraj. Good over. 1 wicket, 2 runs so far. Last ball coming up. Pushed over to the onside. Score 96 for 3. 19 needed. Run rate of 3.8. 15 overs done. So Saki, the new bowler. Of course, Saki Mohammed's stadium is where this game is being played. There's no relationship, though. So Bashir standing back a little bit. So the quicks are back on. Quick spinner. A lot of the spin bowling has been a quick delivery stuff. A couple of flighted bowlers out there. But for the most part, using the pitch to move the ball. So Danya showing his all-round capabilities, bowled very well. He is facing and just misses that one. So Bashir, who's the wicketkeeper, used to be a good bowler, decided to back off the bowling because now as a Marine he wants to preserve his body for his country. Coming down, that's over pitched and dispatched with dispatch. Almost a run out. Good effort. But it's 2 more runs. Score moves on to 99 for 3. 2 off that. Danya now on 2. In comes Saki. Puts that one right on a length. A good ball. He's going to squeeze a single out of it. So Danya 3 now and Manish 35. Anchoring the whole innings actually. And that one's just clobbered. But it's inside the boundary. They're going to have to run fast to avoid the run out. Are we there? Oh, he missed it. If he'd had a clean pickup, that would have been a run out. So these two running dangerously between the wickets. Score now 102 for 3. Manish 37, Danya 3. Amazing amount of torque I've put on that ball with that delivery method. Big man, Saki. He again clobbers that. Lands inside the boundary. relying a lot on his outfielders at the moment. So a reasonable over that, but it beyond the score rate. So Dunn, you're on 3, Manish on 38, and Joder 11 looking very comfortable right now. Run rate required is 2.75, just 4 overs left. So Rehank, or Sarab, yeah. Sarab comes in, places Rehank. So be his, he's picked up a wicket in his last over. Manish steps inside, tries to push it out square, but nothing doing. 38 and 49 balls. This one he elects to drive. It'll be a single to mid-on. It's always interesting to see how the batsmen decide to hit the ball. There are lots of options. But Manish moving his feet very well. Little reset there by Sarab on the field. Coming in for his third ball. That one's outside the off stump and stroked away square. It'll be a single. So Sarab bowling a tidy line and length. And he comes again. Asopish, and it's caught. Excellent bowling by Sarab. Tidy, challenging the batsman. And he picks up Manish, which is a valuable wicket. So that'll slow down the score rate, I think. Although we can't make that assumption because we've got Mahil Patel in the pavilion and he could come in at any moment to finish off the game. So the score 106 for 3 with a run rate of 2.57. Required 16.3 overs. Have gone. So all the wickets so far caught in the deep outfield as the Joder 11 tries to move the score along. So that should be 106 for 4. So we've had a nice 62 not out by a 15-year-old Addy today for sentence 11. Yesterday, Mahil Patel hit 95, strike rate of over 200. So we've seen some good innings. So Dunn, you're facing. Sarab got 2 balls to go into the over. Now Neil Patel is in, so the hammer has arrived. This is the guy that got 95 yesterday. And probably one of the most powerful bats that I've seen in the United States in the last two or 3 years, even with COVID into break. Capable of finishing it in 1 over if he wanted to. Lost his mom when she was 35 to cancer. Brought up his sister. He's been used to adversity in his life. So Danya facing. In comes Sarab, testing him. Good piece of bowling. Back to the bowler. That one's off the line a little bit and pays the price. Pushes out for a single. Just the quick first single, they push it into 2. Good over there by Sarab though. He picked up 1 wicket for 4 runs. Just that last loose one at the end. So Neil Patel played for New Jersey Institute of Technology, where they support cricket quite rigorously and financially. Plays a lot of cricket on the East Coast and in the Philadelphia League and New Jersey leagues. Stretching out here. And Lloyd coming in to see Neil's effort at the wicket. Fast bowler is on, and that's probably going to be a wide, but not called. 108 for 4. 17 overs gone. And Saha Hardik, medium pacer, replacing Sarab. Coming in for a second ball. This one's on the off, and Neil clubbers that. Tremendous power. And it's 4. That's 6. Amazing power, because he just went on his back leg and just upper body strength pushed it through.
Yeah, that's a move and a shot with that specific movement that he loves, and its upper body strength goes into, every bit of it goes into hitting that ball the way how he gets low and strikes the ball. So Neil is on 6 with that 4 and 2 deliveries. Danya is at the other end on 6. And Danya showed us what he can do as a big fast bowler. And Neil, of course, has scored 95 in the previous match.
So the match is tied.
Oh, I guess with this 6. Way outside the off stump, and that's a wide.
Won it with a wide.
And it's a win for the Georgia team. So complete the series with a 3-0 sweep. We're gonna stay tuned. We're gonna have the American College Cricket All Stars playing against UT Arlington in the next game, which will start within about 15 minutes. So please, even if you do go somewhere for a break, come back. And at the end of this, David, any final thoughts on this game?
Well, I feel thoroughly swept in this series, but I thought we saw some great cricket, great partnership there with Adi and Hardik, and playing well within themselves. And then a total contrast with Neil Patel coming in at the end here with the power. So we've seen all aspects of cricket today. My team, the Sentence team, relied on spin to get the wickets. And I was very impressed by the fact they seem to be raising their game in each of the games they've played. So you can see the value of these all-star weekends as the players get to know each other better. So impressive cricket.
Yeah, we had some delightful batting. Neil Patel, of course, struck that mighty 95. And Adi, the young 15-year-old, three very good innings that impressed us all, including his fifth in this particular game. So Daniel Dave, practically all the bowlers bowl really well. Daniel Dave, I think, may get the best bowler award. But we'll be back for the next game, as I said, in about 15 minutes. Best batsman could be either Neil Patel or Adi, who played three very good innings, culminating in that last one. And so join us immediately after this 15-minute break for the UT Arlington game.